Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I haven't done an in-depth any kind of workout, more specifically a leg workout on my YouTube channel in so long. So this is well overdue. My goal for these videos is to be your little trainer in your pocket. You could take me with you to the gym, carry me around with you, or watch this before you head to the gym so you're locked and loaded and don't have to think for your workout. Today's workout is gonna be focused on the glutes and the hamstrings double trouble. Basically that whole backside is gonna be hurting tomorrow. I'm gonna take you from the start all the way to the very end, from the warm up all the way to the stretching. I'm literally holding your hand every step of the way, baby. We got this. Also, we kind of have to bounce around. A lot of people in the gym today. It is New Year's, so everybody's working on those resolutions. Do not feel bad for taking up space in the gym right now. I think it is so exciting that everyone is so motivated and working on themselves. It just gets a little bit more crowded, but give it a couple more months and I swear it'll smooth out and be easier to move around and everything like that. But I'm so happy the gym's crowded. I'm happy you're in there working on your goals and everyone else is too. So take up that space, baby, and let's get into it. Already warmed up on the treadmill. I personally like to do about a 5 to 10 minute warm-up run. In this warm-up run, I'm not going very fast. I'm not trying to exhaust myself. I'm really just trying to get myself nice and warm and ready for the rest of my lift. Personally, for me, that speed's between 6 and 7 usually. If I'm not running, sometimes I'll incline walk, sometimes I'll do the Stairmaster, but I always like to do some type of form of cardio, I guess, to get my body rocking and rolling a little bit. And then I'll come over to a different space so I can do some more hip mobility and dynamic stretches. Now there's two main forms of stretches, dynamic and static. Dynamic is what you want to put at the beginning of your workout and static is at the end. So see how I'm not holding each position for a long period of time, just for a second or two, and then I'm bouncing into it. We're always in a continuous motion. Static stretching is where you sit and you hold that stretch for 20, 30 seconds and you're really trying to loosen up that muscle. Next one really quick, we're gonna go into two squares. You should have two 90-degree angles in front of you. Trying to keep your ankles in the same spot. We're gonna rotate the knees to the other side, keep that chest up proud, and stick the landing. Again, with your ankles still, over to the other side, stick the landing. If you wanna take it a step further, you can bring those hips off the floor, push them forward, and then bring them right back down. This is one of my favorite hip mobility stretches. Anyways, back to static. Stretching a muscle out too much before a lift can cause it to act a little bit weaker during your exercise, which obviously we don't want. We want to lift as much weight as we possibly can. So that's why we do dynamic. It's still gonna move the joints around, muscles around to get them nice and warm, but we're not stretching and holding them still to make them all loosey-goosey. Still want them to be fighters. Next one, we're gonna sit down like a little froggy here. And before we get into the movement, I kind of like to play around with my hips, see what feels good, open her up. Try to keep those heels on the floor. And when you're ready, hold on to those tippy toes and we're gonna scoot those hips up into the sky and right back down. Try to keep that spine nice and straight here as you go up and as you bring it right back down. Last one we're gonna do is kind of a seesaw lateral lunge. I like to open the legs nice and wide, drop down to one side, feel open that hip, you can drop into it if you like, and scoot over to that other side. Another great option I love to throw in are some leg swings. You can go front to back or side to side. And now it's time to head into the first lift of the day. Oh me, oh my, it is so hot outside today. Hip thrusts. If you know anything about me, you know that I start every single leg day with hip thrusts. It gets the glutes nice and right before the rest of my lift, and I want most of my energy to go to this one for the glutes. Guys, I'm really testing my confidence here with this mic at the gym thing. A hip thrust is a compound lift. A compound lift is a lift that uses your entire body to perform the movement. So a squat is a compound lift, a deadlift is a compound lift, and a hip thrust is a compound lift. There's others, but those are just examples. You want to put your compound lifts at the beginning of your workout because, like I said, it requires the most energy. You don't want to do a bunch of exercises and then save your heaviest lift for the end of your workout because you're going to be exhausted and not be able to perform as well. So save your biggest and baddest for the very beginning, get it over with, and then we can get into more of the accessory and isolation movements later on. This is a barbell. It weighs about 45 pounds. No matter how heavy I can end up lifting, I always start with just the bar to get a warm-up round in, just to get the feeling down, the form down, understand what I'm about to put my body through. This is a barbell pad. You can buy them off Amazon. I can link the one that I have, or your gym might have one, but the annoying thing about finding them at the gym is that they're there half the time. Sometimes they're missing, people steal them, people misplace them, so it's kind of nice to just carry your own. This is a box. You can use a box, you can use a bench. Basically, the main thing that you're looking for is to have it about your same knee level. Let's get into our warm-up round and I'll explain form. When the plates are on, we'll be able to just roll it on, but I'm gonna set it on my lap and just glide myself down. You want the bench to be right below those shoulder blades. Heels are gonna be about hip distance apart and toes pointing outwards. You want your toes and knees to be in the same line here. When you're ready, you're gonna drill those heels into the ground and go into a scoop-like motion with those tailbones up to the top. Chin stays tucked, your core is nice and locked and loaded. We're gonna bring it down for 1, 2, 3, and up for 1, and hold for 1 at the top. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, up for 1, hold for 1 at the top. Our torso is staying nice and still during this motion, and I want you to think about that tailbone kind of like an ice cream scooper. Lowering it down, letting those hips draw back, and as we go up, we're turning that tailbone in and scooping up to the top. Hold, keep that gaze forward. We don't want to push those hips up like this word or put the hips back. That's an overextension. Keep everything nice and tight. During the warm-up round, I usually hit about 10 to 12 reps, but now that's done, let's add on some weight. 1 and 2. Okay, honestly, getting the weight is just as hard as the actual workout. These are clips to help hold it in place and it doesn't slide around while you're going up and down. See, now look at this. We can just roll her on. Toes pointed outwards, box is right below those shoulder blades, and we're scooping up like an ice cream scooper. Scoop. 7, 8, 10, hold, drop. All right, that was 10 reps. I think I'm gonna add on 50 more pounds so I can hit about 6 to 8 reps. We shouldn't be flying through like 15 reps. That's not what we want if we're trying to build a lot of muscle. So I always aim for about 6 to 8 reps. You want the last 2 reps to be difficult, so make sure you're putting on a weight that is heavy enough to make those last 2 difficult. Let's grab more plates. Ooh, this one we could carry. And ready, set, scoop. 6, hold it. Every day is different. This is what my body's feeling today. So we're gonna do 2 more rounds here for 6 reps. I need music to get me through these last 2 sets. Sweat playlist, if you know it's good for you. Last round. 5, 6. Back to the worst part. Not kidding when I tell you that I just smacked my head on that barbell up there, so I might have a concussion, but moving on to the rest of the workout. We have our second compound lift of the day. I usually only do 2 compound lifts per workout. You could do more than that, but then you probably don't want to do more than 3 to 4 exercises because you'd be getting enough of a lift. Like I said, next up we got some deadlifts. Just like the hip thrust in any compound lift, we're going to start with just the bar to get the form down. Feet are about shoulders distance, and again, your toes are pointing outwards. I like to work from the top down in the RDL. So from this position, you're going to think about a rope being tied to your hips, and someone is behind you pulling that rope back, pulling your hips back, and while you're doing that, you're keeping that bar as close to the shins as possible. Right below that knee, feel that hamstring stretch, and then we're gonna pull it right back up to the top. So it's not about how low you can go, it's about how far you can push those hips back and bring them back forward again. Again, we're keeping that barbell as close to the legs as possible. We wanna avoid our arms coming out to here, and kind of just like that hip thrust motion, we're gonna scoop that tailbone in. Our knees should never lock out during this movement at any point, and our spine should always stay in a nice straight line. I'm not trying to look at myself in the mirror and bending my neck this way. You want to keep a nice straight line from that tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Okay, warm-up set done. Let's add on the weight. Start with 25s on both sides. Again, to hold her in place. This round, we're gonna go for about 8 reps. And now that the barbell's heavy, I like to switch up my hand placement. So before, I hold the barbell like this with both my palms facing towards me. Once it gets heavier, it's harder for my grip, and you could use lifting straps. I am just lazy and haven't gotten them yet. I actually had some, but I lost them and I haven't ordered new ones. We're gonna have one hand this way and the other hand this way. If you do decide to do this grip, make sure you're alternating it each round so you're not working one forearm more than the other. So bada bing and bada boom. Rope around the hips, and we're scooting those hips back. I think I'm gonna add on 10s to each side. That felt pretty good. This round will go for 6 reps. So up the weight, lower the reps. This way and this way. Right? Wait, which way was my grip? Okay. This way and this way. 4, don't let go of that core. 5, 6. Final round, best round, and this is the last thing for our compound lifts. Next, we're gonna move into a superset. So biggest to baddest are almost out of the way. Switch the hands again. That'll Look, you probably aren't gonna be happy with me, but it's what's good for us. We've got Bulgarian lunges. You could use a box, you could use a bench, you could use whatever your little heart desires, but again, our main goal is just to have it about knee height. My gym has one of these handy little dandy things, and you can make it different height levels, which is super fun, but again, use what you have. I think one of the most confusing things about Bulgarian lunges is how far out you put your leg. So the easy trick that I like to use is sit down onto the heel, and then you're gonna stick your leg out nice and straight. Wherever your heel is, we're gonna plant it down, and that's where your foot goes. Alrighty, dumbbells on either side. We're gonna push up through that front heel and then let it go right back down. Notice how my body kind of looks like it's going up an escalator as I'm going up, and then back down as I go back down. Greater lean over that knee, you're gonna feel it more in those glutes. The more upright we make ourselves, you'll feel it more in those quads. So lean over that knee and let yourself hinge it back and forward. Oh my goodness. This is the exercise where you just never wanna do the other side. Stick it out, heel down. That front leg should be doing a majority of that work. We're not lifting off that back leg. 7, 8. Yow! All right, so we're supersetting these Bulgarian lunges, meaning little to no rest in between these two movements. We're going straight into some hamstring curls. I need to move this machine around because I have very short legs, so I need to make everything as small as possible. But this is a little isolation movement for those hamstrings after those Bulgarian lunges to just really annihilate those legs before we move into our final exercise. So finish up those lunges and climb right onto the machine. We're gonna go for about 8 reps here. We can go heavier for sure. Resist on the way back down and up, down for 3, up for 1. Okay, we're gonna do 3 rounds of both those exercises. To completely finish off that backside is gonna be some back extensions. Lower this down because you have short legs. Don't worry, there's no way for you to fall down in this. I just promise you can throw your body around and you will not fall. Toes are pointing slightly outwards. You're gonna grab onto your weight, arms stay straight. You're gonna round the upper back and push those hips into the pad, squeezing those glutes at the top. Again, push those hips into the pad, squeezing those glutes up at the top. It's gonna turn off those back muscles and make sure you're just using those legs. Ooh. Gets the glutes so good. 10. Oh, my hamstrings. Holy macaroni. Hurts so good. We're finishing up with 3 sets here. Just keep it rocking and rolling, ladies. Take about a 60-second break in between and then just keep it pumping. Ooh. I swear, this is one of the best glute finishers because it hurts so good. We are officially done with our lift. Now it's time to do those static stretches that I was talking about before, where we can actually sit and hold the stretch for a long period of time. I like to cross one leg over, open up those glutes. Oh me, oh my. That was a fantastic workout. I usually lift legs about twice a week. Usually no more than that because I like to give myself enough time to fully recover so that I know I'm giving it a good amount of effort for the next round. Remember, it's form over everything. Just make sure you got your form down before you add on any weight, before you try any new fun moves, before you try a curtsy lunge, make sure you got a lunge. I like to hold each stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds. That actually gives your muscle time to fully release into that stretch and stop resisting. If you liked today's video or workout, let me know what other workouts you want to see next and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. Please make sure to hydrate and get your protein in after this. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.